My name is Trisha Massey, and I'm going to show how Dr. Montessori went from that concrete and started slowly moving to the abstract. She was very big into making many materials that were hands-on so they could learn the operation, but with each material that she used, they slowly went into the abstract. So with her golden beads, those were very, very hands-on and very vivid for them to see the quantity, the unit, the 10 bar, the 100 square, and the 1,000 cube. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate our stamp game. The stamp game is beautiful because now, after the composition of numbers with the golden beads, they have been given the hierarchy of materials. And I know most of you can't see over here, so I hope afterwards you can take a chance to come over here and look. But if you look down here, for those of you that can see, we have our simple family. We show a unit, a 10 bar, 100 square, and then we introduce the comma, which is going to represent the family. That is when we go into the 1,000, and it is a bigger 1,000 cube. And you'll notice when you come by to look, there's 100 square 100 bar. 1,000 bar, thank you. Just went blank. And if you notice on it, there are green lines to represent each unit of 1,000. And then that 10 bar of 1,000, you'll notice there are blue lines along our 100 square of 1,000 family. And then we go into the next comma, which is going to move into our million family. So that's how we represent the 1,000, or we bring in the commas so they have an understanding of the different families, which also kind of moves in because we use family a lot throughout fractions and other portions of our math. So now they have had that. They know that green is going to represent the unit, whether it be a unit of the simple family, unit of the 1,000 family, or unit of the million family. The blue is going to represent the 10 bar. 10 of the simple family, 10 of the 1,000 family, 10 of the million family, and then so on. The red is going to represent the 100 or the 1,000, the 100 square, 100 of the 1,000 family, and then of the million family. And then we go back to green. So it's a pattern, like we started out with. Green, blue, red, green, blue, red. So now, like I said, they're going to be doing this. It's very parallel. Now they know that this still equals 1,000. But they're moving abstract because now everything is not of a different size. They're all the same size. All of the stamps are the same size. And the reason that she said stamp game is because when she first started this work, she actually used stamps and put glue on the back of them and had the kids put them on paper, but it got too messy, so she ended up forming wooden squares. That used to have black, but ours are plastic now as we move along, and they have white on them, which are rubbing off. So then what she would do is before they used the numeral cards, and they did the little game, and they would go get those as a group, and they would get their addend. You know, each person would be their own little addend, getting out their own number. And then we would put those together to form their sum, their quantity. Here, they're going to go ahead and have paper. Okay, they're going to have this paper, and they're going to be able to, instead of using the numeral cards, they're simply going to write down an addend. And then they're going to write down another addend. Then what we will do is we will have them form the addend with this. So they're still using the hands-on approach. They're still doing the work. So let's say they have 4,078. They would get out 4,000 stamps. They wouldn't get out any hundreds because 0. Then they would get out the 7 of the tens. 6. Then they would get out 8 units. So they're moving into that abstract where they're not having that weight. They've worked so extensively with that they already have that in their minds. Now they can start going into that abstract. So I'll finish getting this out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then what we would do is we would take our pencil, we would set it in between that, underneath that addend, and we would have them get the next addend out. Then what we would do is we would say we're going to add them together, and we would pull them up, and we would start counting down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. Once there's 10, we would group them together and say, what do 10 of these equal? They equal a 10. So 10 units equal a 10. Then they'll put these in and get out a 10 stamp. And then so forth. And then we're still saying our vocabulary, an add-in plus an add-in, what is your sum? And the reason that we are really forcing that vocabulary is so when they move into story problems and I say, what is the difference? Well, they know in a subtraction problem, you have your minuend, take away your subtrahend, you're going to equal the difference. So they already have that language that they've been given over and over and over. So when they have a story problem, easy. Oh, sum means I'm going to add. Difference means I need to subtract. They asked what a product is, I'm going to multiply, and then so forth. Also, Lori showed the triangles, and in geometry, we give the story of geometry, which started in Egypt, and so we use the pyramids to show, and then we have our triangle tray in our geometry cabinet, and so they get the words isosceles, equilateral, scalene, and they're given the Latin roots and all sorts of things to help them, remember what each one stands for. I'm not going to go into detail about all these because I know we need to move on. So again, concrete, still concrete, but a little more abstract. If you notice in the middle of your tables, we have what kind of looks like an abacus. That is our bead frame. We have a small bead frame and a large bead frame. Again, you're using fine motor skills on those. There's teeny tiny beads that they have to be able to use their motor skills to move those across. Also, in reading, we read left to right, top to bottom. But in math, we always start counting or subtracting with our units, and then we move to the thousand. So what she has brilliantly done with this work is you're still going with your units, but you're still going from top to the bottom. And then so forth. So